Today we're going to talk about Tom Nash, the self-proclaimed former senior analyst who worked at a top 4 Wall Street firm for more than 10 years. Self-proclaimed because he's never shown any evidence proving that. In fact, if you look at his LinkedIn, let me go ahead and show you again. You're going to see that he doesn't tell you anything about his employment history. LinkedIn is a job searching platform. He doesn't even show you the dates of attendance at University of Michigan. That's very strange. Never seen it before in my life. So take a look. Education, okay. Dates of attendance? No, doesn't want to show you that. It's very strange. More than odd, to be honest with you. Very, very odd. Doesn't show you his employment history. Why is that? This is a man who claims to have been a senior analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm. That's a quotation. That's what he says for more than 10 years. I don't believe him because I have seen how this guy talks about stocks. When he doesn't talk about stocks much. He usually talks about bullshit and kind of rambles around on stuff. But when he does talk about stocks like Palantir, he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a man who has said that ask anyone on Wall Street, anybody who's worked on Wall Street as a Wall Street professional, a trader, analyst, financial advisor, and they will tell you that anyone that talks about PE ratio doesn't know what they're talking about. This is what he said. That's complete nonsense. I'm a Wall Street pro, buddy. Okay? Talking to Tom. I did a video on that already. Nothing about his job history. Isn't that a little odd, folks? Digital media endorsed by Mark Dornick. Okay, so he's endorsed in digital media. Do you see any endorsements by any Wall Street professionals? Any securities analysts endorse him? No. What's going on? Maybe Mr. Nash didn't put anything about Wall Street on there because he didn't work on Wall Street. Or I guess it's possible that he did, but he had to have gotten fired. And he's incompetent. So if he did, people would maybe start calling him out. I don't think that he even worked on Wall Street as an analyst. Other tools and technologies. This is YouTube. Other skills. New media marketing. Anyway, I'm going to get away from this. I want to focus on today's topic with Tom Nash, and that's a revisitation of Palantir. Now, I don't follow these clowns on YouTube. I've just recently become interested, kind of as a entertainment, to see what's been going on, and it's giving me a bigger picture, a better understanding of just how bad the speculative bubble is and why it's this way. Because of clowns like Tom Nash encouraging kids and others, even adults who are clueless, to pile into speculative companies. And so I'm just now starting to get the details as I've seen a couple of videos from Nash on Palantir, but apparently he's got a long history discussing Palantir. Palantir to 1 trillion. And he talks about his price prediction. It's funny because in a recent video, he's backtracking. You can tell this to Tom. My offer still stands if he can prove to me that he worked as a senior analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm for 10 plus years. I will hand him personally $10,000 in cash. That's right. I will hand him 100 brand new, uncirculated, crisp, perfectly minted Benjamins. Okay? I will personally deliver it to him, and I will beg for his forgiveness. That's how confident I am this guy's lying. He doesn't have the skills to have even been a failed analyst on Wall Street. And I'm telling you myself, as a world-leading analyst and investment strategist. That's right. That's right. I can tell you he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a YouTube analyst. That's what he is, which means nothing. So we're going to talk a little bit about this today. Tom Nash telling you several months ago that he thinks that Palantir can be a $1 trillion stock. I think it was by 2030 or something like that. You can look at the video and take notes and see for yourself. Basically, in the next, say, decade or so, $1 trillion stock. Okay, and it's $500 price tag. So I haven't checked and see if the math works out in terms of, does $500 mean it's $1 trillion stock? And you have to consider, by the way, one unique aspect, and this is what we're going to talk about as well with Palantir today. One unique aspect is that it's not as simple. The math isn't as simple as you might think. Normally, what you would do is you would go and you take a look at the number of shares outstanding, right? And so you can do the math and figure out what a $1 trillion market cap would equal in terms of the stock price. The problem with Palantir is that they've diluted shareholders so much that you can't do that anymore. So you can't go back and look at the historical market cap. And in fact, even the current might not even be accurate depending upon the reporting period. But anyway, none of that's just trivial. The bottom line is that Tom Nash was pushing this as a $1 trillion market cap company, $500 price target. More recently, it's kind of funny how, and I'm an expert in detecting frauds and con artists. I've been doing it for over a decade, well over a decade, especially in the financial and financial publishing genre. So I noticed that recently Tom, in a video, he stated, if you'll remember my $35 price target on Palantir. We may go over one of those videos today. I'm not sure where it is. I haven't taken notes or anything. That's right. That's what he said. In a recent video, he mentioned, if you look at if you go and see my discounted cash flow analysis of Palantir, giving it a price target of $35. Well, wait a second. What about the $500 price target? What am I missing here, Tom? Even a $35 price target is a joke. I mentioned this probably about, today's February 17th, 2022, right around a couple of months ago. I actually told several individuals Palantir's going not only to single digits, I think it's probably going to $5 before it's all said and done. So I just wanted to point out a few things before we begin talking about the specifics of Tom Nash and his Palantir disaster, his constant Palantir pumping. And this is a guy, by the way, who's bilking unknown numbers of people. These are people that support him, that send him money. I mean, this guy's causing people to lose their ass. No wonder why all the frauds are on YouTube. If you are a slick talking con artist even with a bad accent and poor English, then as long as you get into the minds of the morons and you come across as a likable guy, I'm a nice guy, right? You can hoodwink them, you can swindle them, and they'll send you money, even though they're losing everything. Total upside of 25 times for Palantir. That's 10 months ago. That's when it was probably about, $20, $30. Today it's around, $10, $11. So look at these videos. I wasn't aware how many videos he's done. Looks like dozens of videos on Palantir. He's been a pure Palantir pumper. Look at this. Palantir just proved it's a $1 trillion company. Now, to give you an idea, what's the market cap on Palantir? Let's see. Market cap is under 24 billion. So at this time, he's saying upside 25 times to get to a $1 trillion. Well, you're going to have to get about 45 times now, right? 45 times will get you to a trillion. I can tell you right now, if you do the opposite of what these YouTube guys say across the board, don't pick one single transaction. But if you generally take all the data and do the opposite of what they say, guaranteed you're going to do much, 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 much better than following what they say. In Tom Nash's case, if you had actually stayed away from Palantir, you would have saved yourself anywhere from 50 to 65%, maybe even higher, of losses. If you'd shorted, well, you made those in terms of gains. So let's just go back and see, just take a quick survey of some of the videos he's done on Palantir. Look at this. This guy is a disaster. He's a Palantir pumper. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Tom Nash, in my opinion, is a fraud. Now, if he can prove to me that he was a senior analyst, top 4 Wall Street firm, then the question of whether he's a fraud or not becomes more of a gray. It's a gray issue. Much more opinionated. But I'm telling you right now, you can write it down as a fact. If Tom Nash was not a senior analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm for 10 plus years, as he claims, he's a fraud. Fact. Yes, I said fact. F-A-C-T. Write it down. You cannot misrepresent yourself in order to make a stream of income. That's what he's done. So take a look at all these videos, folks. Tell me this guy isn't a major pumper for Palantir, right? He got the idea of Palantir apparently from Cathie Wood. Folks, all these people, all these YouTube clowns, they've been pumping Robinhood trash, which once again, anyone who has sold an affiliate link to Robinhood and encourage you to get to use Robinhood, they're your enemy. They're trying to make money helping a company defraud you. They're scum. And most of you are too stupid to realize that, even though I've already told you that. Robinhood is a scam company giving people terrible order execution. That means terrible prices on the stocks that they buy and they sell. So all these YouTube guys are pumping either Cathie Wood's trash or Robinhood trash. Okay? So that's the first thing I really wanted to point out, the big thing. He's a Cathie Wood pumper. He pumps her trash. And in fact, just about all these YouTube stock frauds, con artists out there with no professional experience in the financial industry have been riding piggyback of Cathie Wood. They've been pumping her same narratives, right? Disruptive technology. What do you kids know about technology? I know more about technology than Cathie Wood and all of her analysts combined, probably times 100. So listen to some of this video now.
Me being one of the original bulls of Palantir, I think I was making videos about Palantir 6 months ago when it was $18, even when it got to 40. For me, it was never about that. It's about the fundamental.
Oh, you didn't sell it when it was at 40? Folks, let me kind of tell you what's going on here. Because back in 2021, all kinds of momentum stocks, all kinds of momentum going into these newer companies that, and Palantir, let me just mention one thing right now. Palantir's new in terms of IPO. It's not a new company. It's been around for, I don't know, 20 years or so. Yet, I don't know, I don't believe that they're profitable as of yet. That's pretty disturbing. But Palantir was one of those high momentum companies. Let's get to a chart here. And you can see that, right? I actually jumped into Palantir. Didn't know anything about it. Saw the momentum. You take a look at these lists of momentum stocks doing well. Took a look at the stock, a brief look at it. Says, oh, okay, it's got, they're generating some sales. They have some cash. They've got what appears to be some proprietary technology. Okay, it's not a Peloton. So I actually jumped into it for trading momentum, and I traded a few times, and I got out of it. Okay, once the momentum slowed down, I got out of it. I can't recall where I last sold. I think I last sold it actually. I may have got lucky and actually sold it up here, but I know it was the high 20s. Whether it was here or here, I don't know. Let me see when this was late. Yeah, I think it was actually around up here. So, and I bought like 10 shares after the collapse as a tracking stock, just for me to track it and see what's going on. But it's clear to me, the stock, and I knew this a couple of months ago, it's going to the single digits, probably roughly around $5, $5, $6, maybe $7. I would say $7 is the more optimistic of the bottom on that. And I'm talking about not necessarily right now, but over this period. That's just a guess. So my point is that he didn't sell it. He didn't take profits. He claims he got into it at 18 bucks. He didn't sell it. Why not? Because he was thinking it's going to go to the moon. It's going to go to $500, right? Because he doesn't understand. Tom Nash doesn't understand what's going on in the stock market. He's clueless. He doesn't understand what was going on.
YouTube, and I absolutely am in love with Palantir. So I think it's a very interesting case that we can actually break down from these two standpoints. They can talk about theirs.
So he's talking about some guy that was criticizing him on pumping Palantir.
And now I get to talk about mine, and there's not going to be any nonsense or drama, so there's not going to be any channel naming, nothing. So check this out.
Why don't you want to name the channel, Tom? Are you afraid? Are you afraid? See, because Tom he cherry picks a few things the guy says. Are you afraid for people to listen to the whole analysis? Yeah, you're afraid.
So initially, when you guys sent me the video, I went over there.
See, folks, he is only addressing this because some people send him the video. So send him my videos, asking him you can ask him to prove he was a senior analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm. $10,000, right? He's not going to address me because he knows now he's dealing with a top pro, and he's an amateur. He's a clown. I mean, of course. And he's dealing with somebody who doesn't care. I'm not trying to grow any type of YouTube channel or anything like that. I'm just talking about the truth, folks.
Absolutely no hate towards them, and I absolutely enjoyed this video, but I think we deserve to hear the counter arguments to a lot of the stuff they said. And I gotta be honest with you, I absolutely agree with their initial premise, which is that Palantir got overhyped on YouTube because of a lot of BS hype artists who don't even understand the business model.
Oh, it got overhyped because of a lot of BS hype artists, right? Oh, really? You mean like you? Like you? Look at these videos. Yeah, Tom, you're one of those guys. So basically, Tom is telling you, this guy's not bad. He's a nice guy. I like him. You should listen to his videos because he's a nice guy. I could have a beer with him. Folks, that's not good. That means the guy's not calling him out for a fraud that he is. Of course, this guy, I'm sure, who he's talking about, is another clown, doesn't know what's going on.
And I haven't sold even when it got to 40.
Because you're clueless.
For me, it was never about that. It's about the fundamental analysis.
When it was $18 a share, and it went to $40, I didn't sell it. That's what he said. Because of the fundamentals. The fundamentals. Okay. So you got over 100% potential profit, assuming that you bought it at 18 bucks. He's telling you he didn't sell it at more than 100% potential profit, right? Because he believed in the fundamentals. Okay. He believed in the fundamentals. If that's the case, why is he still pumping it when the fundamentals look terrible? Think about that. He's still pumping it. He mentioned when it was $20 not so long ago, he piled into it. I did a video on this. I played the excerpt. He said, I don't have enough money to buy more. I want to buy more. Right? And now it's just under $12. You can take a look here. He's got a video. Palantir Q3 earnings. Total disaster. Right? Remaining bullish. He's remaining bullish. What a clown. Let's get back to this video.
Who was talking to, I think his name was Paul, is mainly a real estate guy, so I understand where he's coming from.
Of course he's a real estate guy. Folks, a lot of these guys are real estate guys, including Meet Kevin, and they claim to be stock experts. They're frauds, is what they are. Write it down, F-R-A-U-D. Meet Kevin, fraud. Tom Nash, until you prove to me that you were an analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm, senior analyst for 10 years or more. You're a fraud. Prove it, buddy. $10,000 in cash. I'm ready to give to you. Let's go. Of course, he'll never confront that, folks. I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, I mean, who are you going to trust? You trust this guy? Show him my video. Guaranteed he'll run like a little bitch and just ignore the situation because he doesn't want to be exposed for what he really is. Liar. Fraud.
And essentially, he's looking at it like a pure investment right now. What's the cash flow? What's the numbers?
Pure investment, okay? As opposed to what? What's the cash flow? What's the numbers? That's how this guy, this real estate guy, is looking at Palantir. That's why he's saying he's wrong. Tom's saying he's wrong, right? Because he's looking at it as a, quote, pure investment. He's looking at the cash flow and the numbers. Wait a second, Tom. Your $500 ridiculous price target is based upon your DCF model, your DCF analysis, your discounted cash flow analysis, right? Cash flow, you dummy. This guy is just so full of shit. And if you can't catch this stuff, then you should look in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? I need to just buy the S&P 500 because there's too many fraudsters out there. I don't know enough to even catch them. Think about that. Remember, his whole thesis on a $1 trillion market cap, $500 price target is based upon cash flows, right? Estimating future cash flows and then discounting those cash flows to the present. That's the DCF model. That's the DCF analysis. And by the way, let me just mention, you can estimate as many cash flows as you want for any company. The estimates of the cash flows oftentimes aren't the important thing because you can justify estimates of cash flows. The key factor behind a DCF analysis of any type of asset, especially a market tradable asset, actually the assumptions underlying the discount rate. That's key. That's probably the most important part. And this clown doesn't have any idea about that, obviously. This is a guy that doesn't even understand what's going on. Palantir is a black box. There's not much transparency as to what they do and how they do it. Therefore, we don't even know if what they have is truly legitimate and valid. Just because they have government contracts doesn't mean squat. Okay? Halliburton has got plenty of government contracts and got a whole lot more during the Iraq War, beginning in 2003, 4, 5, because Dick Cheney, the former CEO of Halliburton, was the vice president, right? Need I say more? When you have something that's supposed to be so special and so secret and proprietary, yet people can't really analyze exactly what you have, that's a problem. Okay? That's a big problem. And it becomes a bigger problem when the company, the management, is diluting the hell out of the company, providing employees with massive amounts of stock options. It looks to me like, and I'll get to this a little bit later if I have a chance, it looks to me like Palantir is more of a gravy train fleecing shareholders. That's what it's looking like to me, because they have almost 2 billion shares outstanding. This is Palantir. You can see today. So it says 1.91 billion. This is, folks, I can't remember if I don't think I've ever seen a new company have anywhere near this number of shares outstanding. There may have been, but I don't remember it. In fact, and this is where it comes to perspective and understanding how things work in the investment world, which Tom doesn't. Even if he were an analyst, he probably, well, if you were a competent analyst, you would understand this. Having 2 billion shares, that's typically like older, really established blue chip companies. 1.91 billion shares? Are you kidding me? And this has to do with the fundamentals. Everything is being diluted. EPS is being diluted, right? Actually, they don't even have an EPS, do they? Let's see. Yeah, they don't. It's negative, right? So imagine this company it's been around for a couple of decades, maybe a little longer, and it can't make a profit. Look at these margins, minus 35.81%, operating margin minus 39%. Now, going public, companies often change their business dynamics. Raising capital, having access to the credit markets can change the whole game. Doesn't always, but it certainly can, and I've seen it happen many times. Will it for Palantir? I don't know. But I do know this. They have basically black box company. Don't really know what's there. There's a bunch of hype. And take a look at what it's done. It's done poorly on earnings, and you see where the stock has gone. It's now just under $12, and I say it's going to the single digits. I mean, I could just go on and on all day about this guy. He's such a clown. You can listen. We'll just pull this up.
First of all, this is Brent Thill. He's ranked 12 in the country out of 7,300 analysts, and he has Palantir at $40, like myself, with a 38% upside. And he
So now Tom claims to have a price target of $40. First I've heard of that, Tom. This guy's Tom Nash is a liar. And let me just mention one thing, because you guys, this guy Tom Nash is so stupid and so naive. He doesn't realize TipRanks, folks, is a scam company. TipRanks is a boiler room scam company. Write that down. I exposed TipRanks when it first came out. So just because somebody's ranked on some website, does that mean it's valid? Do you think TripAdvisor is valid? TripAdvisor is loaded with nothing but, well, I'm not going to say completely fake reviews, but it's majority fake reviews. Like all these review sites, they're fake. The fake reviews industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Okay? My point is that just because anybody has any type of review system, you think it's valid? I can tell you right now, TipRanks is bullshit. It's complete garbage. So once again, just like we talked about looking at the assumptions behind the discount rate that you're using for the DCF analysis, you need to look at the assumptions behind TipRanks, how they're analyzing and rating analysts. And I've looked at it. It's a joke. It's pathetic. It's garbage. It's just another boiler room that gets you to want you to sign up so you can get access to the top analysts, right? Which is complete nonsense. You don't get the research. This is just garbage. But anyway, I mean, and the sad thing is that most people don't even realize what I just said. Because, folks, let me tell you right now, if you don't understand the financial media, including YouTube and everything else, all these articles, that's all garbage. Much of it is complete manufactured intentional disinformation to steer you into the gutter, and most of the other portion is just complete stupidity and ignorance to get you to click because they're selling advertisements. You don't understand that the financial media is your biggest detriment towards becoming a good investor and doing well, then you're not going to do well, and you're certainly not going to become a good investor.
was right quite often. I mean, he made 70% of the stock, much like myself.
You see that? So Tom is actually vouching for this boiler room TipRanks. He's vouching for something he doesn't know. He's making it sound like it's valid. It's not valid. It's bullshit. Tom, how do you know the success rate's 70%? Based upon what? Based upon what? You understand, folks? If you can't get what I'm saying, you're out of the picture. You have no hope. TipRanks it's not as if it's the Standard & Poor's, right? Or something like MSCI. TipRanks is like it's like a little chumpy ass website with no accountability. It's like Guru Focus and Insider Monkey and all that other bullshit. That's all trash. Motley Fool, all that garbage.
Brent Thill is from Jefferies, and he's one of the best analysts in the country, according to numbers. TipRanks is saying that he thinks the company can be $40.
So you got here a guy who claims to be an experienced analyst, Tom Nash, who's too stupid to even realize that TipRanks is boiler room bullshit. It's not legitimate. That's who you're listening to. Of course, this is the same guy who completely blew everybody up on Palantir. So it shouldn't be any surprise that this guy is taken by TipRanks' boiler room scam.
Kathy Wood thinks that the company can be much bigger than it is right now. But why? What are we seeing that a lot of these short sellers are not seeing? Well, let me explain.
I remember one time with a customer.
Yeah, okay. So who do you think's selling it short? Who's selling it short, folks? Institutions, hedge funds. People are dumping it. And this is also during the period, I believe, I don't know when the lockup, this is close to the lockup, if not during, the lockup expired, all these insiders dumped massive amounts, right? Including the CEO founder.
Oh, Okay, so we have to talk about Palantir. There's a lot to cover in this video. Before we start, don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, don't buy nothing. Let's talk about Palantir.
So he often starts out with his con artist, repeat, con artist line. Don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, don't buy nothing. Okay, don't click nothing, don't buy nothing. Really? So he wants you to think like, look, I'm a nice guy. I'm here for you for free. Don't give me money. Reverse psychology for dummies, right? Oh, really? Don't click nothing? What's all this, Tom? What's all these affiliate links? Why are you posting all this, Tom? Honestly, the people that are supporting this guy, watching his videos, commenting positively, sending him money, you all deserve to lose your ass, and you're going to. And meanwhile, he's going to make money. He's making money. You all are losing. He's winning. He's providing you with shitty advice, shitty insight, pumping trash. He's making more money every day because you people are too stupid to understand what's going on. Okay? You all are empowering this con artist. He's making money. He's wrong. He's nothing but wrong, but keeps making money because you people are stupid. It's the stupid people that empower con artists like this guy. And there are countless numbers of con artists claiming to be stock experts on YouTube.
Here, the Q4 financials and what's ahead starting right now.
He's got his little intro here. Yeah, oh look, the tickers. He knows what's going on. Wow. Wow, how much did you pay Fiverr to have this
Hey,
made?
thank you for staying with me. My name is Tom. If this is your first time here, as always, you know, we don't click nothing, we don't smash nothing, and we don't buy nothing.
Oh, so, really? What's all this? And by the way, once again, Tom, you don't have a disclosure here that you're making money off these endorsed products. That's illegal. You're breaking federal law. So why do you have your Patreon? I guess it's okay for you to e-beg, right? People are buying your so-called newsletter. You're selling something. You're a lying scumbag con artist.
So the Q4 financials are coming out tomorrow before market open. So I'm assuming we'll see the results at around 7 a.m. Now, this is a good opportunity to let you guys know I will be streaming the entire Q4 earnings, including 1 hour ahead. So 7 a.m. I'm going to be live with Sasha Yanchin, who's going to be co-hosting with me, and we're going to cover everything you ever wanted to know about Palantir, the Q4.
So here's a glimpse of these two clowns. And you can, this guy's obviously another clown too. And they go through 2 hours. Folks, you're wasting your time listening to two con artist jugheads. Well, I'm not going to call Sasha. Wow, dude, isn't that a girl's name? I'm not going to call you a con artist because I don't know anything about you, but I have to believe in the famous quote, you are judged by the company you keep, right? Birds of a feather. You got these guys talking for 2 hours. Folks, you got to understand what's going on. These guys they're drawing you in. This is all low yield fluff. You're listening to two clowns talk about things they don't really understand. You're much better off listening to a conference call, listening to even boiler room media like Yahoo Finance or CNBC or such and such, listening to the call and listening to the analysis there. You're much better off. These guys are a joke, but what they're doing is they're just sucking you in more and more and more so that you become more and more dependent on them, just like, Meet Kevin. Daily drama, right? You tune in, you keep tuning in, and you feel dependent and you feel lost without them, even though you don't even realize they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Turn YouTube off. Recapture your life. You're going to lose money listening to these clowns, listening to YouTube. Let's get back to this video. So this is the day before earnings, February 16th, you can see here.
Obviously, the company took a massive beating over the past 90 days, and you know my position on this. I think that the company is insanely undervalued, and now more than ever. So
He's been saying that for how long now, right?
Question on everybody's mind, I'm guessing, is will this actually move the needle? If the Q4 financials are astonishing, will this move the needle for Palantir? Will the share price actually go up? Now, I'm going to be honest with you, nobody really knows, including myself, but I can speculate that I don't think that's going to be the case, unfortunately, because here's the thing. Palantir is grossly misrepresented in institutional ownership.
Why do you think that's so? Why do you think it's so? Before I answer that question, folks, so he's saying even if the earnings are astonishing, it's basically not going to move the stock. It's not going to go up. Okay, so what's the chance that the earnings are astonishing? Not too high, right? So maybe you should short the stock instead. In fact, if you shorted it, you would have made up to 20% in one day. But instead, see what he's doing, folks, is that he's preparing the sheep that listen to him, that are stuck into this trash. He's preparing you for kind of an anticlimactic earnings reaction in the market, right? If it goes down, oh, well, don't expect it, right? Because what else can he do? It's going down, 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 down. He's just using simple psychology here to work on his sheep. That's what he's doing. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Only 35% of Palantir float is being held by institutionals.
Yeah, you know why? Because at the very least, institutions don't like massive shareholder dilution, and they don't like to see massive insider selling, and that's what's happened to Palantir. Aside from everything else, aside from the greatly hyped up stock that it was in 2021, when everything was being hyped up, everybody was making money. It's a different ball game now. Rates are going up. They're going up by a good amount over a fairly short period of time. Okay, so that's why that fact alone is going to push Palantir down to the single digits. Probably, I still say $5 is a pretty good bottom, but I'd be surprised if the bottom was higher than $7.
Can they do it outside the U.S.? Because it's going to have a
So basically, he goes on to say, oh, they don't have many customers, and most of those customers, they have 200 customers, and a handful of those customers account for a large percentage of their revenue, so on and so forth. So he goes through it. He's basically just telling you bad things about the company, right? But he puts this positive spin on it. And he's been doing this now for a while as to justify why the price is down. Hey, Tom, if you had opened your eyes, been competent, and not been a dildo, maybe you could have told your sheep audience to short Palantir months ago instead of drawing them into this crap, right? But he keeps claiming it's great. I'm not even going to get into the details. He doesn't have an idea about the barriers to international expansion. And there are enormous barriers for a variety of reasons. I'm not going to get into that. He has no idea about that because he's a clown.
Things are definitely getting better, but I want to make sure that this keeps happening, because with 200 clients and 40 holding half of your revenue, it's a huge business risk that I don't like to have in a company I'm investing in.
Oh, really? Well, this hasn't changed. So why have you been pumping this? If you don't want to invest in this type of company with this huge risk, why do you keep pumping it? Folks, you see what I'm saying? I don't even know if this guy even owns the stock. He may not even own it because he's flip-flopping back and forth. Nothing he says is making sense. He's contradicting himself so much.
DCF showing you why I have $35 for this company as my own target price. Of course, I'm not a fan.
There you go again, folks. We get back to his claim of $35 price target. Well, maybe I'm missing something. That's possible. I haven't watched his videos, all his videos in detail, but we saw where he talked about $500 price target, right? $500 price target. In fact, there's another video I'm going to show you here where at some other point he talked about a $165 price target, I believe. We'll see that here in a minute. But now he's lowering it down to $35. What's going on, Tom?
The DCF showing you why I have $35 for this company as my own target price. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. You got to do your own research, find out for yourself. My reasoning behind this is...
So, you got to do your own research. I like how he constantly throws that out there, especially more recently after he's caused people to lose their ass.
My reasoning behind this is quite simple. I see Palantir as a massive disruptor, similarly to how Tesla disrupted the auto industry. I think Palantir is about to do the same to the business intelligence, data, and AI industry.
Really? Interesting. It's just so funny when you hear that term. I've heard that term from a bunch of idiots who don't know anything about the stock market. It's a disruptor, and they're getting this from Cathie Wood, who pushed all this crap, and that's based upon, once again, disruptive innovation, right? By the way, let me just mention something that Cathie Wood might not realize, at least consciously. She probably understands this subconsciously, but there's a big difference between innovation and commercialization. Just because you developed something doesn't mean it's going to make money. You've got to get it to the market. Okay? And none of these idiots that talk about this ever mention that. They just use all these buzzwords. And Tom Nash is piggybacking off of Cathie Wood's crap, all her pumping. That's what he's doing. In fact, let's take a look. Didn't I show you earlier? He mentions that he thinks that Palantir is going to be a disruptive technology, a disruptive company, similar to how Tesla is disruptive. Right? That's what he said. Let's take a look here. So where did he get that idea? He got it from Cathie Wood, right? Remember that video I showed you earlier? Right?
How Tesla disrupted the auto industry. I think Palantir is about to do the same. Also figuring out that data is slowly becoming the new oil. Pretty much, I think the next decade.
He's slowly figuring out. This is shocking. So this is a guy who claims to have been a senior analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm for more than a decade. Yet he's just now slowly figuring out that big data is going to be the next oil, right? Over, I guess, the coming decade. What? This is shocking to me. Big data has been a huge trend for more than a decade. That's what all the management consulting firms, all the Wall Street firms have been pushing. Okay? And virtually none of you people listening to this know this. I've mentioned this before in the past. You all don't know about this because this narrative has been pushed by all these groups trying to get you to, get these companies to realign their strategies, their business strategies based on big data, harnessing the data that's available, especially in the U.S. because our laws are a joke in terms of protection of consumer data, harnessing this data for profit. Okay? This has been a theme for people that are in the know, and you should be in the know. You're a senior analyst, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. Most people aren't going to realize how pathetic that statement is. It's just, I'm starting to slowly realize, dude, big data has been the big trend for easily a decade. Why do you think the cloud computing market has taken off? The cloud computing market is being fueled to a large extent because of harnessing of big data. Wow, this guy's an idiot. He's a complete idiot, really. He has no idea what he's talking about.
It's going to be all about data, and I'm really excited about what Palantir can give you. If you want to look at more specifics of how Palantir actually do what they do, how their system...
How Palantir do what they do. You see, folks, I mean, you can just go through, and that's what I'm saying. I know this guy was never an analyst on Wall Street because you have to be a good communicator. And the reason why you have to be a good communicator is because you have to do conference calls, you've got to do road shows. You understand? It's not just about writing analyst reports. Analysts are salesmen. Analysts have to be good communicators. They have to be able to speak well and to present well. This guy has poor English. So there's no way he was a Wall Street analyst. Write that down. Let him know. Let him know. Show him my videos. Show him my claims. Show him. I'll give him $10,000. He won't budge because he knows that I've exposed him. He doesn't want to respond to it because he knows then he'll be guilty.
Works, what kind of benefit they offer to clients, what's the bottom line savings they can show to clients. Everything is available online. There's a whole book with test cases from Palantir and Skywise that have actually saved airlines quite significant amounts of money. Skywise is obviously just an implementation of Foundry for the airline business. There's a lot of test cases out there which you can read and educate yourself. So whenever you hear, people tell you, well, we don't know what Palantir is doing. There's a whole book showing you exactly how they work, what they do, and how they save money. If you just really want to know about it, it's easy to do it. If you just want to keep screaming that you don't understand their business, that's fine as well. I don't mind. In any case, I'm really excited about where this is heading.
You hear that, folks? You got an analyst, a guy who claims to be a decade-plus senior analyst from a top 4 Wall Street firm, and he's telling you, if you don't know what Palantir does, people are complaining they don't know what it does. The information's out there. Go look, watch videos. Go read case studies from Palantir. Case studies? An analyst should be telling you to look at the SEC filings. Palantir can't be sued by the SEC or investors for putting out puffed up, fluffed up bullshit case studies. But they can be sued if they put it in the filings. That's what you do. You learn about a company by the SEC filings. Those are legal documents. Why isn't he telling you to do that? It's another reason why I say this guy was never an analyst. And if he was, he's obviously an idiot and or a crook. He's trying to steer you. He's trying to pump you into this shit and not even giving you reliable, credible sources to do research. He's telling you to go watch the videos. I guess this is where he got his analysis. He watched propaganda videos and read propaganda case studies written by the company that stands to benefit. Now, before I end this video, I wanted to close with this clown. And I wanted to close with this clown because I wanted to explain or remind everybody how these guys work. So here's why YouTube is just like its parent company, Google, in that it's a confirmation bias machine. In other words, once you accept some type of a narrative on anything on Google, you're going to search, do more searches, try and learn more, and essentially you're just going to be getting reinforcing information, reinforcing stories to keep you into that narrative. It's almost impossible unless you're really clever and know what's going on for you to escape that narrative. That's why it's a confirmation bias machine. YouTube is even worse because not only are you faced with the YouTube algorithm, which reinforces confirmation bias, but you also have the individual channel owners who pump these people. So in other words, they will pump somebody who's got a lot more subscribers to put their name in there and to get more subscribers. And they'll also do it hoping that, oh, well, he's pumping me, he's promoting me, wow, he's a nice guy. Maybe I'll do a collaboration with him. So on and so forth. There's many reasons. It's rare that you have somebody that's credible and critical on YouTube. Once again, I said credible and critical. You might see someone who's critical. It's very rare that you're going to see someone who's credible. In the rare occasions where someone is credible, they're never going to be critical. Okay? The two must go hand in hand. You don't see it on YouTube. So let's go ahead and listen to this guy. Please try not to laugh at his voice.
Felix here, guys, and we're going to look at whether is Tom Nash right? Is Palantir a $1 trillion company? Is his...
Sorry, I should have asked myself to not laugh. Have you ever heard a more exaggerated, weird, cheesy, like, I don't know, what genre from broadcasting is he trying to emulate? And then you add that, I guess, I don't know, British accent? Wow. This is really weird sounding. Anyway.
Price target, right? He put a price target out of $165, and I want to look at how we got there and whether he is the rambling madman that he sometimes proclaims to be. Now, as always, guys, this is not financial advice. Please always take that into account.
So you can see here, this was July 7, 2021. So apparently that was his price target, $165 back then. We saw where he talked about $500, but you notice recently in that video I played, he wants to point you to the 35. So in other words, oh, it's just $35. You're only down, 65% instead of 99%. This is very disingenuous of Nash.
Be smart. Do your own research. So let me show you. No, none of that. This is what I want to show you. So is Tom right? Is what we're going to answer.
Tom right?
Is he rambling? He's got a $165 price target out in his video, and he's based that on a 50% year-on-year growth. So first of all, if you haven't watched Tom's video, and here it is, this one here with that lovely yellow background, which I'm now covering with my enormous head. That one there, go and watch it and give him a nice comment and a thumbs up because he deserves it. He's a very hard-working creator and he puts out highly entertaining videos. And this one...
You see that? He's encouraging you to go watch his video, give him a thumbs up and a comment, positive comment. So you got guys like this promoting him instead of criticizing his trash. It's not good. Forward Tom Nash, any of the videos you've seen me make on him, especially the claims where I'm willing to back what I say. I'm willing to give him $10,000 in cash, personally delivering it, hand delivered in cash, if he can prove to me he was a senior analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm for 10 plus years. $10,000. It's very simple, right? And once again, ask yourself why he's not showing his work background on LinkedIn. A little bit weird, isn't it? It's more than a little bit weird. It's bizarre. It's very bizarre. Never seen anything like it before in my life. And he doesn't even give you the dates of attendance of his so-called degree at University of Michigan. I've never seen anything like this. Look. And you'll notice his skills are all in media. Digital marketing, media, right? It's looking like Tom Nash is actually from the digital media space. And these guys are con artists. They get into any topic, just read a few things, learn a few buzzwords, this and that, and then all of a sudden you market yourself as an expert in that field. The key thing is to understand digital marketing, which is a scam, of course. Anybody into digital marketing, internet marketing, 99% chance they're a fraudster. Write it down. I've been saying that for almost 2 decades, actually. It's been my opinion then. Hasn't changed because the facts haven't changed. Here's the video. I think he replaced this. He had another video before where he claimed he was a corporate analyst, not a...
Growing up in the 80s as a I got my MBA in marketing and finance, and I ended up working for one of the largest investment banks in the world. Working as an analyst and later on as a senior manager. My job was to look at companies, dissect, analyzing as an analyst.
Wait a second. So he's a senior manager now. He's claiming senior analyst, by the way, folks. What about any of these pictures shows me he's an analyst? Nothing. Okay? American flag, some meeting, some conference, and then a basketball game. Isn't that a little bizarre? Maybe not, since you don't have a company to put on your LinkedIn.
In finance.
Okay, so
MBA in marketing. I got my MBA in marketing.
You're in a library with the Michigan sweatshirt on. Okay, fine. There's a Michigan football game, looks like to me. Okay, so what? Nothing. I don't see University of Michigan anywhere here. I mean, what is this? So, I mean, I'm just saying, look, maybe he went there. Everything's starting to sound, it's very weird when you don't put the dates of attendance of your university. Anyway, this is all very weird. And this points to, once again, my confidence that he was never a senior analyst. And that's what he says. In the video, he says senior manager. Now, senior manager? What's a senior manager? I mean, folks, that doesn't... Wall Street analysts, there's no senior managers. That's complete nonsense. What are you talking about? This guy's a client. I worked on Wall Street. I know. There's no senior managers. What are you talking about? There's no, managers of analysts? There's no, what do you manage the analysts? There's no position. That doesn't exist. This guy is such a bullshit artist and a fraud. Tom Nash, $10,000 if you can prove your claims. Otherwise, you're a fraud and you deserve to be sued.